Hello, everybody, and welcome to Real Madrid Hub. I am your host, Eric Rivera, and this is your spot on YouTube for all things Real Madrid news. Well, the drama continues, and when is there not drama at Real Madrid lately? It is 2021. That is the season. It has been going on like this for quite some time now. There is a lot of different things going on with Real Madrid, but obviously, I think the most dramatic pieces of news, the most dramatic sagas that is happening at the moment is obviously the case regarding Sergio Ramos's renewal. So there was an article today in Diario from Marco Ruiz, and the title of it is "There is a Mess with Sergio Ramos." So, you know, what Marco Ruiz is saying in this article is essentially that the club and, you know, I guess elements of the club and people around Sergio Ramos keep on giving the media different information that is oftentimes contradictory. But the two people that are really at the epicenter of this news and are, you know, for all intents and purposes, the most important guys, which are essentially the president of Real Madrid, Florentino Perez, and, you know, our captain and center back, which is Sergio Ramos himself. Neither one have really given any sort of, you know, declaration, any sort of statement to make, you know, to clear up any of the news. So this is going to be somewhat, as long as we're, you know, right now it's long and drawn out, you know. I mean, we heard from Josep Pedredol that, you know, a couple of days ago that, you know, that Real Madrid had said that they've already decided that, or they've already have a feeling that Sergio Ramos is not going to renew, that it is what it is, you know, that the deal that they have presented him, the contract they have presented him is what it is, that he's not going to get a better offer, and that essentially they were already, you know, making plans or have made their mind up that they think Sergio Ramos is going to leave. And then later, yesterday actually, Ciro Lopez from COPE, you know, said on the radio show that Sergio Ramos had basically rejected any sort of offer, because supposedly there was another offer that Real Madrid had presented to Sergio Ramos, and Sergio Ramos had said, you know, he had rejected it and had said that he believed that his future, that apparently his words, that my future is away from Real Madrid. My future is no longer in Real Madrid. Then we've heard all of these, you know, rumors about it being possibly Manchester United that is looking at Sergio Ramos. Then there are rumors that René Ramos, who is his brother and agent, has for a long time wanted Sergio Ramos to play in the Premier League. So there's all these different versions coming out from people around the player, but around the club, and also around the club. But all of these pieces of news have been contradictory because neither one of the players has really come out. Neither one of these two parties that are real, like I said, the actual people that are in discussion here have come out and said, you know, this is true or untrue. You know, that being Sergio Ramos or the president of Real Madrid, Florentino Perez. One of the things that recently came out, obviously, that is spoke about in this article, is that some people within Sergio Ramos's camp have said that the information is wrong, and they said that Ramos has received no offers and that he has in no way, shape, or form told Real Madrid that he is going to leave in the summer. It's even more so what we're hearing now, apparently, in this article, or Marco Ruiz is saying, is that the people within Sergio Ramos' camp say that his mind is set only on staying at Real Madrid, and that his relationship with Florentino has actually gotten stronger in the last few days, mostly because Sergio Ramos was concerned about the president's health when he got diagnosed with COVID, and that Florentino was concerned about Sergio Ramos's health when he had to get the operation on his knee. So where does this all leave? It's that everything that's going on is essentially, we have to take the news coming out as a grain of salt, because none of this stuff is coming from Sergio Ramos himself or Florentino himself. Everything is sources within the club, sources, that are close to Sergio Ramos, which happens in the news, happens in news stories. But at this point, everything seems to be contradictory. Some people are saying, he's resolute on leaving, while other people are saying he's 100%, his head is at Madrid and that's where he wants to play. And it seems like one of the other pieces that, one of the other pieces of the puzzle here that Marco Ruiz brings up as well is that the renewal that Sergio Ramos is actually, willing apparently to accept a renewal for 2 years, accept a renewal at his same pay that he is receiving right now. And he doesn't care if it's a year-by-year contract, which is what Real Madrid does with players after they turn 30. So at this point, it seems like we're hearing that, now he's accepting, or he would be willing to accept that contract that Real Madrid presented. But then there are other people that are saying that he wasn't and that he wanted to leave. So there's another part that also says, that if Real Madrid really, and this is kind of believable as well, if Real Madrid really wanted Sergio Ramos to renew, and this is coming from his camp as well, if they really felt that they wanted him, they would have done so already, and they would have offered him whatever he was asking for. But of course, the idea is, the whole idea behind Real Madrid is that they are very, very strict in their negotiations, and they are concerned about the current financial situation, and they are playing it, I would say, as cautiously as possible. However, the end of the article basically goes on to say, and Marco Ruiz is saying in this article, is that we have seen this before with Sergio Ramos and Real Madrid's board and Real Madrid's president Florentino Perez. It seems that these two guys have always, I would say it's almost not a love-hate relationship, but they are just both two very hard-headed guys, and we have always seen drawn-out negotiations between both parties where both of them like to play hardball, both of them plant themselves in aggressive positions and seem to be unwilling to negotiate. But then have said that any, and we've seen this before where it says, all the news has come out and said that any renegotiation, any way of reaching an agreement is absolutely off the table. And then Sergio Ramos has remained a Real Madrid player. At this point, it is in my belief, and I'm going to take this as my, my opinion on the thing, and my opinion of the entire situation, and my opinion of this whole craziness that's going around with Sergio Ramos is, I love Sergio Ramos to death. I think he's got an ego. He knows he's a very important player. He knows he's got a lot of leverage, in the sense of his stardom, but it is not the time to, I think, force it, essentially because he's caught in a situation where really he's going to end up, for me at least, looking like the bad guy, because it's like you're turning your back on the team when they are in a financial situation that's not positive, but not because of any doing of their own really, but because of a global pandemic. Had it been that they didn't want to negotiate with him whatsoever, and didn't want to keep him, and it was a totally regular season, I could see why he would be angry about it. But in this case, it kind of puts him in a bad light, if he's asking all the, if he's willing to fight with the club when the club seems like they're just trying to save money in order to basically not only renew the players, which I'm sure Sergio Ramos knows that they have to renew and get younger players, and that this era is coming to an end, and that his era is essentially going to come to an end one day, but he's still at the top of his game, And this is the club that in a lot of ways Sergio Ramos has always been a part of. He's an icon of the club. You can't take that away from him. His legendary status is cemented as a Real Madrid icon in the likes of Raúl, in the likes of Fernando Hierro, in the likes of Di Stefano. He is synonymous with Real Madrid. So my thing in all of this is they both need to just sit down, and we need to hear from both Florentino and Sergio Ramos himself. And apparently there is going to be another meeting between them. And we need to hear from them and then make the statements. And, if he wants to leave, so be it. He wants to leave, and that is completely his decision. Some people will be happy with it. Some people won't. And then the other thing is, if they do come to an agreement, it's great for Real Madrid because we get to keep who, by and large is the best center back in the world at the moment. And we've already seen that we have other players. If we do get Alaba, although I think that's still very, very up in the air since he's asking for so much money, apparently for his contract. So, for his salary. So it remains to be seen. But at the end of the day, if we can keep Ramos and seeing that Mendy can be a backup center back, and seems like Varane it's up in the air, but could stay as well. There's a lot of different things, and we're taking this day to day because the attitude of Real Madrid seems to change with when we're doing good, or when we're doing well, or when we're not doing well. So when we're doing well and things like the Getafe game happen and we see, that Mendy performed really, at a great level as a center back, and it kind of gives you, a feeling that there is some future with Real Madrid, that, Varane is still a young guy, that he can grow. It just remains to be seen how the chips are going to fall at the end of the season, and, what ultimate decisions are going to be made to not only solve the financial situation, but see if, we're going to need to sell players. And then the idea is, if we're going to sell players, who are we going to bring in? Are we going to focus on the youth? But for me, as much as I know people will say, it should be club over money. And I do believe that Sergio Ramos should, dig deep and be like, I want to be a part of this club forever, if that's essentially how he's always presented himself as being with Real Madrid till the end. I think he would be a great asset for any youth player coming into the game, any youth player coming to the team. And it would be great to see him lead us, until he finishes his career at Madrid. But that's just my opinion, and there's a lot of things going around. And like I said, there is a lot of news that is contradictory. So we have to continue to see how this is going to evolve. And at this point, it's kind of getting tired and old, and we're just going to have to figure out, I don't know if I'm going to report it per se, but I'm just going to report it when we get maybe some actual news from either one of these guys, where one guy comes out on camera and says, I either want to stay with Real Madrid forever, or I no longer want to stay and I've decided I'm leaving. And then we'll have an answer, right? Well, that's the news for now, guys. Thank you for listening. This one was a little late today, and I apologize for that, but I'm not feeling too well. So I had to push it a little later. So thank you very much for listening, guys. Remember to subscribe to Real Madrid Hub, to subscribe to my good friend J Real Madrid and his two channels, which are J Real Madrid and Dr. J. And then also check me out on my podcast, Y Nada Más Podcast. I am also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Y Nada Más Podcast. Thank you very much for listening.